From divine sister of the light Natalia, Alba, beloved ones, we are witnessing the beginning of the end of an old era represented by Piscean energies, the end of the soul and mental slavery in which many have been submitted since humanity exists, the end of the old us, the end of an old world and timeline, an end that introduces a new beginning, a new dawn of freedom, spiritual sovereignty, and soul remembrance, where we are in charge of our consciousness, thoughts, feelings, and lives, for we are becoming what we were made to be, divine, sovereign beings. We have been fighting for mental and soul liberation for more than many of us can remember. For many of us, if not the majority, have done this inner soul planetary work before. You have incarnated in many dimensions, in many different centuries, trying to change old ways of thinking and being that damaged humanity for so long. In 2017, we saw the light. We saw the change that we have been anchoring in ourselves and the planet for all these years. We felt the shift in the air, and with it, hope for humanity to live as empowered, free beings. The predecessor of this planetary shift, the solar eclipse in Aries, which introduces the change that Neptune moving from Pisces to Aries is making on March 30th, will be key for all of us to recalibrate our personal energies, current soul and human trajectory and timeline, and above all, stabilizing our energy, light body, and personal choices. The solar eclipse in Aries, conjunct the North Node in Pisces, reminds us that we are moving forward in our spiritual journey, never backward, as there is nothing ever retrograde within creation, whether a planet or our evolution. There is only constant change and movement forward, an eclipse that reminds us of the infinite possibilities that are there for us if we focus on what can be built, not on what is being dissolved. The Aries solar eclipse is also conjunct Mercury retrograde in Aries, although briefly, as after the eclipse will be back in Pisces, together with Venus, too, in slow motion, for those who resonate with retrogrades. These events surrounding the eclipse invite us to pause for a moment, rather than being impulsive, discerning where we are going, the frequency we currently hold, and making any changes necessary to continue our desired trajectory. This eclipse provides us with the resilience and determination required to continue with our desired path, despite the challenges we may be undergoing, as we knew when we came here that this was going to be an adventure, but also a challenge to trigger the necessary shift within ourselves, to awaken our consciousness and remember who we are. With Neptune in Pisces, the planet of spirituality, dreams, and illusion, we embrace our shadows and become integrated beings by healing, activating, and unifying our polarities, healing years of karmic ties and miasma, perfectionating our light bodies, and recognizing our divinity. Neptune in Pisces has signified a great shift in the collective consciousness like never before in our human history. It is now that we are aware of who we are, that we move into Aries, more empowered, sovereign, and free to choose our new destination. For it is with Aries that we finally start anew, but this time knowing our power and wisdom, for we have risen from the ashes of the old while we dwelled in Pisces, to rebirth as illumined beings. We are crossing the threshold into a stabilizing and revealing passage with the solar eclipse in Aries, a portal that many of you are being brave to cross at this time of great transition for many of us who are willing to continue removing old egoic layers and anything that is not in perfect resonance with who we truly are, in essence. This is a time of dramatic changes, opportunities to help us see the truth of who we are, of our relationships, of what we leave behind, and why it shall be that way, and the most important, what is coming into our lives. If we are courageous to live within an open heart and mind, as we cannot continue integrating if our minds are closed to the changes that many not consciously understand, but that cannot be denied, for we are strongly feeling it in the depths of our being. A change we agree to experience in our present incarnation and trajectory into a more illumined dimension. The Aries eclipse represents the bridge in this 9th transitional universal year for many of us who are finally embracing a new beginning. As what we see as endings are often new beginnings, we just have to see the seed that is growing, not what is being dissolved. Many of you are fighting the new awakening that is taking place within yourselves as we continue transiting into a new harmonic dimension. Do not fight this shift or rush the process. As you know, all suffering comes from wanting to change what we cannot. Our soul travels faster than our human mind and body. Let your body and human mind assimilate the many changes you are experiencing at divine timing. We may not want to recognize we are changing, as it is hard at first, that we no longer wish to remain in the same relationships, living in the same place, in the same old ways, and it may take time for us to adjust. But in truth, when change knocks at our door, we cannot deny it for long. We have to learn how to embrace it and adapt to it until we love it. As you grow in your mission, the same will occur. You will no longer feel like remaining in a job you can no longer coexist with. Do not fight the discomfort that being in jobs you no longer wish to do or anything that no longer resonates brings to you. Observe from a neutral perspective. Listen instead of acting impulsively. Do what you can do at this time for yourself and all, and leave all desire to control where you are going. Focus on inner healing, peace, and reconnection, as the more you realign to your soul, the more directions and transmissions you will receive to know all you need to know to change direction, and that no one can tell you. The acceleration in our ascension process that many of you are deeply undergoing can cause desperation and impatience between your human desires and your soul ones. We cannot accelerate it in our human way. We can only adapt to it gracefully and lovingly, surrendering to God's call and His timing, not ours. The path of patience leads to our desired outcome. The path of desperation leads to a path of sorrow, as guides remind us during this transitional time. May you surrender to the divine will and all the blessings that await you if you trust and remain in your heart. Have a loving and revealing passage. With an infinite love, NataliaAlba.com.